Christmas travel disruption in parts of the UK as stormpia brings strong winds of up to 80 miles an hour.
The Christmas getaway has ground to a halt for tens of thousands of people today because of strong winds and also an unexpected strike by Eurotunnel workers in France. Stormpia has brought wind gusts of up to 80 miles an hour in northern parts of the UK, bringing down power lines in parts of Scotland and leaving homes without electricity. Train services between London and Scotland on the West Coast Main Line have been cancelled because of damage to overhead power lines. And on top of that, a last-minute strike by Eurotunnel workers in France means all Eurostar and Le Shuttle services in and out of London are cancelled until further notice. Ellie Price reports.
The young boy whose bedroom this 60-ton tree fell on top of in Derbyshire was in it at the time. Don't worry, he wasn't hurt.
I just heard what I thought was an earthquake. We both ran in, grabbed him as quick as we could. Obviously, his bedroom's just been destroyed, really, so it's very, very lucky that he wasn't injured in any way.
Stormpia is mainly passing to the north of Scotland, but it's leading to some strong winds across the UK. In Shetland, schools were closed, ferries were cancelled. In England, thousands of people in the Midlands faced power cuts this morning. No surprises, it's affected people's travel plans too. British Airways said it had to adjust its schedule. Planes here at Birmingham Airport were finding takeoff and landing challenging. A lorry on the Barton Bridge on the M60 was blown over. Happily, again, no one was injured. And trees blocked roads, and this service station in Derby. They were also a problem on the train lines in Scotland, along with other debris. Well, the strong winds didn't come quite far this south to London, but the travel chaos certainly did. Now, passengers here at Euston are not being allowed onto the concourse as there are no trains coming in or out in one of London's busiest stations.
They've shut the gates to the station. There's no signs up, there's no staff around saying, you know, what's happening or anything.
I was excited to go and see my mum, my family, my sisters, my brothers, and I came to Euston Station and the train is delayed and I don't know how I'm going to get home.
I feel worried because we might be stuck in here for a long time.
And you might miss Father Christmas?
Yeah.
Network Rail say they've solved the problem now, but disruption is likely to continue until the end of the day. And tonight it's an even more miserable picture on the Eurostar, where all trains have been cancelled until further notice. A last-minute strike by Eurotunnel staff means there haven't been any Channel Tunnel crossings since midday. Ellie Price, BBC News.
Now, there has been a pretty chaotic start to the Christmas getaway, with the Eurotunnel shut, a major train station closed and many flights cancelled. A sudden strike by French workers saw Eurostar services suspended for several hours and Le Shuttle services also halted. Damage to power cables closed London Euston Station to passengers, with 2 train operators cancelling their services. And strong winds brought by stormpia forced the grounding of several flights within the UK and abroad. Here's Martha Fairley.
For those hoping to get ahead of the Christmas getaway, things weren't going to plan. Euston Station was temporarily closed as trains, including West Coast Main Line services, were cancelled because of damage to overhead lines. The culprit, apparently, a bag that had blown onto the cables between Milton Keynes and Watford, leaving passengers angry and frustrated.
My sister has just had a baby and I have only met her once, so I would love to be able to go home. And if we're hosting Christmas dinner, we're getting our food delivery tomorrow, it's due to arrive, and if we're not there, then it'll just be really, really upsetting and really sad.
Trains did start running again mid-afternoon, but it wasn't good news for everyone.
Oh, it has actually been cancelled. Is that true?
Yeah, train's been cancelled. Just like that, train's been cancelled, so I don't know what we can do. I think they said you can try and ram onto the train, but we've got a dog, we've got loads of suitcases.
I can't actually believe this.
I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe drive, but
I can't actually believe this has actually happened.
So yeah, not too sure. We better go and find out.
We do, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
At St Pancras, for passengers on the Eurostar, it was more cancellations, but a different problem. A snap strike by Eurotunnel workers meant that all Eurostar trains and Le Shuttle services from Folkestone were brought to a standstill.
We got on the train and then we stopped outside Stratford and then they said we had to turn around because of the strike.
Like, I was supposed to come back to Paris to see my family back because I'm studying here, and like, actually I can't come back. So yeah, and we have no, like, everything is fully booked for tomorrow and after tomorrow.
Further north, there had been warnings not to travel at all as stormpia brought winds gusting up to 80 miles an hour. In the village of Stanley in Derbyshire, the family in this house had a narrow escape after a tree fell onto the roof. Strong winds caused damage to buildings, rail lines and roads. One man was taken to hospital after a tree hit his car. Meanwhile, in Scotland, there was widespread disruption to ferries, with services out of Orkney and Shetland cancelled due to high winds. And for those choosing to go by plane, it was a bumpy ride for many. Dozens of British Airways flights were cancelled out of Heathrow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen and Glasgow. Not exactly a flying start to the holidays.
Tonight, services at Euston Station are just getting back to normal this evening after the bad weather forced operators to cancel all services in and out of the capital. Trains were affected for around 3 hours, and tonight people are still trying to make their way home for Christmas.